Hi everyone, welcome to Tony Fox Tarot. Thanks for joining me today and great to have you with me. Before we get started on today's reading, if you're interested in becoming a Patreon subscriber, you can go down below into the description box. There's plenty of information on how to go about doing that. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to this video. Before you on the screen, we have the different symbols to choose from. And once you've made the choice of your symbol, that will be your reading. It's perfectly fine to choose more than one symbol that comes through for you strongly today. And remember, this is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave behind anything that doesn't. I'll leave you to make the choice of your symbol. And once you've done that, down below are the timestamps to navigate to your reading. And I will see you in a moment. Hi everyone, welcome to symbol number 1. This is your reading and we're looking at friendships today. What's going on in this particular friendship? Let's dive in and have a look and see what's going on. I'm going to start in the past here with the other person. Get a very sensitive individual, somebody who is very dynamic and quick-minded. I feel like this person is incredibly close to you. I feel like you're the best of friends here in a way that shares a very strong bond. Inseparable at times. I feel that you do everything together in a way that seizes the opportunity for hanging out, doing things, getting ahead in life. I feel like you share an enormous amount of common ground, maybe backgrounds, the way that you were brought up, values, but certainly goals. You know, like I feel like the two of you are moving along in a way where you're both very shared in terms of the same sorts of pursuits. You're wanting to achieve similar or even same kind of things. You're very much on the same page in terms of where you're at in your lives and always have been. I do feel that you see eye to eye on everything. I don't feel like you're ever faltering in terms of the friendship. It just feels like you're able to navigate each other at a very sensitive level. Particularly this person, I definitely feel a vulnerability in terms of their character. I feel this is somebody maybe that you need to look out for. I do feel that you both have each other's backs here in a way that is unquestioning. I don't feel like there's ever been any bad blood, you know. Like I don't feel like you've ever fallen out. I feel like you're always catching each other in a way that pushes things along in a very positive and very dynamic way. It does, you know, resonate as a very sort of deep soul connection where you're kind of beating from the same heart. I feel everything is very shared. You know, it feels very twin-like to me in terms of what you're like as people. How it is that you see the world, a sense of where you're from, how you're connected to each other. It's very easygoing as well. I don't feel like you're ever putting any pressure on each other here in a way that expects too much. Lots of common ground once again. I kind of feel like you're sharing so many things, same sense of humor, same sorts of values. Same sorts of goals again. I kind of feel like the two of you are really hurtling along in life, you know, both historically, currently, but even in the future. It's like you're kind of looking for the same things. You're looking to achieve the same things, do the same things. And a lot of it's shared, you know, like I kind of think maybe you're integrating what those things are in a way to kind of nudge each other along, maybe share a bit of that experience of each other's opportunities. I think you'd do anything for each other. I think you've got each other's backs. I think that this other person can be a little bit more competitive, though. There is a competitive edge. I feel like this other person's always watching over their shoulder, edging to see where you're at. I feel like you're the stronger of the two in terms of being more resilient. I feel like this is a very sensitive individual who can take things to heart, who maybe looks to you in a way that sees you as being a little bit stronger, but maybe they need you a little bit more. if I come down here to the Hermit and the Six of Pentacles, I feel like that becomes a little more evident here with these two cards for yourself here in the past. I feel that you're definitely the more consistent, maybe the stronger of the two in terms of your resilience. I feel like you've got a thicker skin. I don't feel like you're taking things on so sensitively. I feel like this other person can kind of flip things around in terms of their position, of their ideas, of where they stand. Maybe they can be a little bit more changeable. I think often they align themselves to you and what it is that you want. I think maybe they're a little pliable in that respect. I feel like you're much more true to yourself in terms of really knowing what you want in life. I don't feel any questioning there. Here with the Hermit, I feel like you're a very strong person with a deep sense of who it is that you are as an individual. You know, there's an assuredness here in a way where I feel you've got a real sort of sense of yourself and what you want to be or what you want to do in life. I feel like you've had a lot of experiences, or that you take experiences on in a way that goes quite deep with them. And I feel that shows in your depth of character. It's not to say that this person falls short of that. I feel like this person is a very sensitive, attuned individual that kind of reads into things in a way that is very unique and special within themselves. I think you're quite spiritual people, and I get a strong sense of intuition with both of you here. I feel like you do have a sense of responsibility to this person in a way that maybe compensates for certain shortfallings, for their sensitivity. I feel like you look out for that person with a lot of kindness. I think you're always trying to balance the situation for them. I think you know that they can anticipate things in a sensitive way that leaves them feeling a little on the back foot. I think you definitely look out for this person. I feel like like here with the Hermit, I feel like there's a long history of giving and supporting this person. I feel in some ways, obviously this is a very unconditional connection. I think that you understand that by giving in certain ways, that things always balance out. But at the same time, I get a real sense here that you're a very consistent, steadfast individual who is very much the backbone of this friendship. I feel like you keep this person afloat with a lot of kindness, a lot of wisdom. I think you look out for this person. Up here to Death and the Ace of Swords. I feel like here in the now, with them, things have really changed. I feel like things become very difficult. This person's been going through a really crazy change within themselves, within their lives. I feel like everything's turned upside down. Some sort of inner process that has emerged to show a side of them that maybe you wish you hadn't seen or experienced. I don't feel that this person is the person that maybe you once knew. I feel like they've gone through some sort of an experience that has really changed them. Here with Death, definitely some hard-hitting, challenging experiences that really forced them to face themselves, and I don't feel like they enjoyed that process or liked to see what they've actually faced. I wonder whether they've gone through some process of losing somebody or losing something in their life. I feel like something has triggered in their world in a way that has really forced them to kind of figure out something about themselves, maybe confront the realities of what's going on in their world in a way that has been very hard-hitting. I don't feel that that's been a good experience, but I feel that they've reacted to you really harshly with this experience in a way where they've been very selfish. I feel like they've said some really nasty things, maybe accused you of doing certain things. I feel like maybe they've insulted you here with the Ace of Swords. I feel like they've gone to the bone here in a way that has just kind of let all of this very piercing, very very selfish, very hard-hitting words, actions. I feel like this person has come to a point in the friendship with you where they've decided that they don't want to have a connection with you anymore, and that they've decided they want to move on. I feel like they've withdrawn and that they've given up. And I think that they've done that in a really brutal way. I feel like there have been words that have been said that have burnt bridges, that this person has been really ruthless in how it is that they've acted, what it is they've said. I feel that they've just taken away the friendship in a way where they've cut the lifeline. They've decided that they want to move on. I think this person's behavior has really cut you to the core. It's been incredibly hurtful, very painful. I feel like this person is also saying here that they don't want to speak to you ever again. Like it's over. It feels brutal. It feels like it's gone to the bone. I feel like things have been said, things have been done. I think to most people that would actually be quite unforgivable. I don't feel that that's actually sudden. I feel here with death, this has been quite a slow process. I feel like this person has come off track, maybe come off the rails even. Maybe their behavior has changed. They've been doing things differently. Their coping mechanisms have failed to support them. I think you're usually the person that's there for them, but something's happened here in a way where they don't want you to be their friend anymore. I think there's more to say about that down here with the Lovers and the Five of Wands. I feel like you're a very popular person amongst other people. I feel like you have a lot of other friends. I feel like with this person, it's very one-on-one with you in a way where it's an intensive shared experience, but that this person doesn't want for more outside of that context. I feel like you are all they need and they want to share everything with you. I feel like you've shared a lot of time with other people in a way that is very close-knit and that perhaps actually shows this other person that they aren't the only one. This involvement with other people, I feel like it causes competitiveness here with the Five of Wands. I feel like this triggers the other person with arguments and tensions. I think being close to other people or any other friendship groups, I think it shows them up as being really jealous and very insecure. And this person has reacted in this situation in a way where I feel that they've just decided that that's it. I feel like here with the Lovers, you're saying I don't want to make a choice to actually sacrifice my other friendships. My closeness to other people is really important. It's not something that I want to compromise on. I feel like you've pushed back here with these cards. You know, like you're fighting back on this person. This person's being really ruthless, really brutal. They're saying really nasty things. They're trying to cut you down to size. I think they're trying to make you feel bad about what is it you're doing. And you're saying, no, my choice is here with the Lovers is that I want to be close to these other people. These people are important to me. I'm going to challenge you on this. So I feel like you've pushed back, stood your corner about socializing with other people. I feel like this other person, in the context of the friends that you know, or maybe of people that you know together, I do feel that their presence rocks the boat and causes a lot of group problems. I think that this person can be very tricky to deal with because when it gets down to the bone, I think that they're very uncomfortable and insecure around other people. So I feel like navigating other people with this person becomes really challenging, and sometimes it's more trouble than it's worth. It would be very easy to avoid socializing with other people because it triggers this person to get very insecure within themselves. This person is not comfortable either, I don't feel, with integrating into a wider social group context. They're very one-on-one. And I feel like you've always been there for this person. This is a very important relationship, but it's really come off track here. Where's this going to go? I feel over here with the Emperor and the Ten of Cups. I feel like you're coming to a point here in the future where you're saying, look, I'm refusing to give up on this friendship here with the Emperor. You know, like you're digging in your heels. There's a real sort of nurturing quality about this card, you know, a very paternal instinct. It's about looking after things and it's about boundaries. And here with the Ten of Cups, I feel like you're saying, look, we're family, you know. You have this sense of nurturing responsibility to this person in a way that says, you know, that you need to ensure, or that we need to ensure that everybody's happy. Like, I feel like, you know, again, it kind of comes back to how you play back here with the Hermit and the Six of Pentacles. I feel like you're always there as the backbone, holding the balance, being really kind, compensating in many ways for the shortfallings of this other person. Over here with the Emperor and the Ten of Cups, I feel like you're saying, we need to play by the rules here, and that you need to stick to them. So I don't feel like you're sort of caving into this person. I feel like you're staying true to yourself here in a way that says, I'm here for you. I'm receptive to, you know, us being happy and you know, but we need to play by the rules, you know, that we need to push things forward. And I feel like you're trying to bring this person back into the fold, but also maintain boundaries, a sense of nurturing support in a way that is very understanding and empathetic of what this person is doing, a strong instinctual understanding, but also a very wise understanding that this person needs to be brought back into the fold with a guiding hand. You know, like I feel like you're the sensible one, the responsible one here with the Emperor. You know, you're fathering, parenting this person, this figure. With an open heart, you know, here with the Ten of Cups. You know, like this is a very beautiful outcome in terms of what you're actually trying to give to this person. I think you're saying, I'm not going to take no for an answer. I think also, you know, you're sticking to your guns. You know, you're creating the basis for healing here. You know, you're leaving the door open. You're beckoning this person to come back with a guiding hand, and at the same time, you're not being walked over. You know, it's very much on your terms in a very compassionate way. The outcome here is one here with the Fool and the Ace of Wands, where I feel like this person will initially ignore your initiation of rekindling the friendship. I think they'll play really hard to get here with the Fool. They'll ignore your calls, ignore your texts, ignore you on social media, maybe even ignore you in the street. I kind of feel like this person is flipping a finger in some ways here with the Ace of Wands. It's like, no, stuff you. I think they'll play hard to get. And I think it'll read as very arrogant and that they'll come across as being really aloof, uninterested, detached. I think, you know, it's foolish behavior. This person is acting really immaturely. And I feel like they're ignoring their sense of responsibility to you, to themselves, to the friendship, you know. They're letting things slip by. They're ignoring this kind of olive branch, really. This initiation, this open gesture for you to kind of like, you know, come back together. And I feel that as time goes by, they will feel that they don't need you anymore. But I do feel that they will actually respond in time at the same time. I feel like eventually they will respond, but it's a kind of a very awkward and very immature connection here. The Ace of Wands is a new beginning. It is initiating connection. So they're kind of ignoring you, but at the same time, as they're walking towards this opportunity, I think eventually, you know, that things will reconnect. But I want to say here that to me, there are real cracks showing here in terms of showing that this is like a real strong case of maturity versus immaturity. Like your sense of duty to this person's welfare almost is compensating for the friendship. That essentially, like you're propping them up by looking after them. By doing that, that doesn't make this a friendship. That actually makes a situation where you're compensating, because this person's ignoring the basis of what it is that has happened. Here with Death and the Ace of Swords. This person has gone really hard. They've let rip and they've cut you to the bone. And I feel that there is some irreparable damage here in a way that says that they really need to explain why they did that, to face up to the truths in terms of their shortcomings, their insecurities. And I feel here with the Fool and the Ace of Wands in many ways that what this person is doing here in the future is trying to figure out their own journey in terms of where they're going, and that doesn't necessarily include you. Here with the Ace of Swords, this person has made their mind up. It's a moment of absolute clarity. They are sure that they do not want to be friends with you anymore, and I feel that you're pushing this person into a situation and providing them with a sense of responsibility to look after them, that you want them to come back into the fold of the relationship in a way where you can watch over them. And I feel in many ways that the right thing to do here is to let this person go and to figure things out for themselves. That if this friendship is true, that they need to come back on their own terms and conditions in a way that understands their responsibility to you. For my Patreon followers, if you'd like to hold for a moment, I'll be with you in a second. For everybody else, if you want to go down below and hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Please like and share this video where you can. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to symbol number 2. This is your reading and we're looking at friendships today, and we want to see what's going on in this particular friendship. We're going to start over here with the Tower, the Knight of Cups, looking into the past with this other person. I felt like everything had come undone for this person. Things have fallen apart in a way where they're not coping. I feel like this person has been finding it very difficult to figure things out, how to put things back into order in a way that makes sense to them. I feel like this is a friend in need who really needs another friend. I felt that they've been calling on you. I feel like the issues that are going on for this person could definitely be love related here with the Knight of Cups. This could be a relationship that's fallen to pieces. It also could be a friendship or some other kind of close social connection where I feel like there are issues that are really overwhelming this person in a way that it's just too big to get their head around, and they need somebody to kind of touch base with and talk things through or figure things out. I don't feel like this person wants to be alone, and I don't feel like they're coping. I get a sense that this person has really been reaching out to you and leaning hard into their relationship with you in a way that is calling on you to be there for them. I feel like this person wants to confide in you in a way that talks things through, figure things out. They're really extending their social hand here in a way that is saying, I need somebody to figure this out. If they're not saying that directly, they're certainly doing it by their actions, by their words of needing somebody just to be there to have a chat to. I think this person is looking for reassurance. They just want to know that everything's going to be okay. I don't feel on one level that this person is asking so much in the context of what's going on here with the Tower. I mean, like, things have really fallen apart for this person. I feel like whatever it is that's happened, it's really spun them out. It's certainly hit very hard, and I don't feel emotionally that this person has been able to kind of get a grasp as to what's going on. It feels very fast moving. It feels mobilized here with the Knight of Cups. It just feels like the bomb has hit and this person has kind of reacted to the situation proportionately. I don't feel that this person is being over the top. I get a very lovely personality that comes through here with the Knight of Cups. I feel like this is somebody who has an enormous amount of warmth, very friendly, very sociable. I feel like this is somebody who was a lot of fun to be around, who was very gracious in terms of being quite sensitive to other people's needs. I think there is an openness here for me that says that this person would do this for you. I mean, they'd be there for you if anything ever happened that was like this. Here with the Tower also, I feel like this is a person who has actually done this, maybe for you, but certainly for other people. This is somebody who knows what it's like to feel the feelings that they're feeling and can put themselves into other people's shoes in a way that shows an enormous amount of sympathy and empathy and connection in a way that is just very loving. I get a very natural personality coming through here. I feel like whatever this situation is, I feel that they've been on the rough end of the deal. You know, whoever has done something to them has been very unfair. I feel it feels very disproportionate. It feels like this person isn't worthy of that. But, you know, moving on from that specific scenario, I definitely feel here that this is somebody who's wanting to get away from the problem. So it's not just about talking to you. It's not just about leaning into you in terms of your friendship to get answers, to get reassurance. I feel like this person is also wanting to escape that issue. I feel like this has been a bombshell that has left this person reeling in a way that where they don't want to go back to the scene. They don't want to be alone. They don't want to be really thinking about it. I feel like this person wants to be out. They want to get out and they want to be with other people. Maybe they want to be in a place that just feels friendly, that can distract them, that gives them comfort and security. So I feel like this person is definitely looking to get away from their troubles here in a way that certainly leans into you. The Magician and the Three of Cups here, I feel that you bounced straight into action in a way where you've immediately been there for this person. I feel here with the Magician, you know, it's a card of communication. It's articulate, it's fast moving. I feel like you've just struck straight into action here in a way where you've been immediately supportive of everything that's going on. I feel like here with the Magician and the Three of Cups that, you know, you're facilitating support. Maybe you're bringing other people into the mix here in a way that gives support to this person. Communicating with a group of friends, colleagues, family. I just feel like you're knitting things together in a way where you are pivotal and very much central in terms of like an avenue of communication. I feel like you're doing a lot here, that you've thrown your hat in the ring, that you've been kind of running around after this person, trying to figure things out for them, trying to make it all good, trying to give them a lot of support, but also trying to just make them happy. I think that you can see that this is a pretty hard-hitting scenario and that, you know, you want to lighten things up for this person because it's been really heavy. I think you've been trying to cheer them up, and definitely a sense here that you're initiating maybe outings with other people, going out and having some fun, trying to get their mind off of it, calling them, texting them, engaging them on social media. Yeah, I think you've been doing a lot of different things here in terms of underpinning the overall nature of support. I think you're also working your magic here in a way that maybe is sort of something that this other person can't see. You know, like that you're kind of bringing things together with thoughtful gestures, perhaps. Doing things that kind of support this person in a way that they can't see. Maybe having a word to another friend, or arranging things in a way that just kind of makes for a better daily or kind of momentary experience for this person. I feel like you've got this person's back, is what I'm trying to say, you know. And I think you've been doing that in a very lovely, kind-hearted way that shows an enormous amount of support. So there's no doubt here that you kind of stepped in as a good friend without any question. I feel here, though, up here with Judgment and the Ten of Pentacles, as things have progressed into the here and the now, in the present, I feel like this situation is definitely intensified with this other friend. I feel like things have progressively gotten heavier that this person has actually become more and more demanding, not only of you, but maybe of other people. I feel like this person has developed or grown into this expectation that other people should be around them to support them. I feel like this person wants people to be around constantly. I don't feel like this person wants to be alone. Here with judgment, I feel like this person is calling on other people to step up and really support them. And with the Ten of Pentacles, it's definitely a card of expectation. I feel like this person has really become very much the center of attention with other people in terms of your friendship group, but I think it goes wider than that. Maybe their friends and family, also their work colleagues. I just feel like this person has become the center of attention in a way where all eyes are on this person, giving them an enormous amount of support. I feel like everybody they know is sort of quite aware of what's going on in terms of their experience. I feel like a lot of people have a lot of sympathy for this person, that they are there for them. I feel like people have rallied to the cause and really stepped up to say all of the right things, do all of the right things, to be there. I don't feel like anybody has backed off in this situation or is saying that this is wrong. I feel like things have kind of calmed down on one level in terms of this friend of yours really getting to grips with where the situation is at. But I feel here with judgment that they feel that they're very hard done by with this situation, and that in their mind, proportionately, people should be there for them. The expectation is definitely there in a way that says, everybody has a role to play in this. Like this is a heavy situation where I feel that this person isn't afraid to call people out if they don't actually step up and actually give them the support. I feel like, and I think what I find a little alarming about this, I think it's almost like this person has grown to be the center of attention and grown to, maybe at an unconscious level, enjoy that. Here with the Knight of Cups, this is definitely a socially mobile person who knows how to butterfly around a group of people, who knows how to play to an audience, who knows how to keep all the plates spinning in terms of like a social context where they're not afraid to be busy with people and to be constantly engaging. I think they actually really like that. I think they like to have a chat, to make a connection, to kind of, to keep social engagement going in a way where there's always something to do next with somebody else. I don't get a sense that this person likes to be alone a lot anyway. But I feel like at this point in time that you're looking on and saying to yourself, my gosh, the audacity of this person to actually almost exploit this situation to their own benefit in terms of wanting to be the center of attention, or maybe to even exploit the opportunity to network in with people who are providing opportunities or opening doors or I kind of sort of feel like, maybe at one level, this person is really milking the situation to kind of maneuver at a social level in a way that perhaps they weren't before. It's almost like whatever it is that's happened here in the past, however this has kind of sort of made this situation into a very hard done by scenario for this person, I feel like it actually has opened doors for them. I feel that people look on and look to this person and think, oh my gosh, this poor person, how could this have happened to them? They're such a lovely person. It's almost like it's really benefited them in many ways. And if I come down here to the Fool and the Ten of Wands, I feel like for yourself, in response to what's going on at the moment, I think it's all become a bit too much for you in a way where you're thinking, this is really hard work. I don't feel that you want to take on the burden of what's going on in terms of how things have spun out of control in some ways for this person. I think that you're I think you're beginning to ignore them as well here with the Fool and with the Ten of Pentacles. I feel like you're brushing off engagement with this person. I feel like you're saying that I'm busy when this person is kind of calling on you. Maybe that you've got work, or that you're doing other things, or that you just don't have the time right now. But here with the Fool, I feel like you're not wanting to hear it either. You're not wanting to hear from them. When you do hear from them, you know, your inclination is to kind of maybe get back to them later, maybe even ignore them. I think you're questioning where the friendship is going, but also where it's all going with this person in terms of what are they thinking? Where are they going with this? What are they really doing? I feel like you've backed off away from the friendship in that respect. That you're seeing this person as being really hard work here with the Ten of Pentacles, that this is too much. Like, I don't want to be carrying all of this. I don't want to be involved here with the Fool. I don't want to be involved with all of this. I just want to kind of keep it light. I think the thing is for you in terms of the Fool, the Magician, the Three of Cups, I think you're actually quite a light-hearted person. I think you're full of substance, don't get me wrong. It's not like you don't have a deep sense of who it is that you are and what's going on around you. I feel like in many ways almost a very spiritual individual, but I don't feel that you want to necessarily get involved with a whole lot of drama. And that's how this feels like it's developing for me, that this has become very dramatic. This person's holding court. They're the center of attention in a way that you're kind of looking onto that and saying, it all feels like, you know, a bit much. And that it's only going to get worse. I think you're thinking this is just kind of going in one particular direction. So I don't feel that you're necessarily switched off completely, but I feel like you'd like to. I feel like you'd definitely like to. I think you're looking for ways to escape from engagement from this person. I think you would prefer just to have your time to be your own time. I think also the other thing is here, you're sort of saying to yourself, look, there are some things that you just don't want to be involved in and that you don't want to take all of this on, and I don't want to be the one to sort out everything for this person. You know, be responsible for yourself. I've got my own stuff going on, you know. Where's this all going to go? I feel over here with the Devil and the Nine of Pentacles, the outcome in terms of the timeline for this person, I feel like this is coming up over the next couple of months. And I want to say also, I feel that initially this was really like a really fast-moving scenario that erupted for this person, but it's kind of developed into a very slow-moving scenario in terms of the aftermath of whatever it is that's happened. You know, like it kind of was very quick. You responded very quickly. You were there as a friend in a very immediate way. You facilitated support in a way that kind of was trying to get this person on their feet. Now this person is kind of stuck in this situation in a way where they're not really doing anything with it. They're just kind of wallowing in whatever it is. Over here with the Devil and the Nine of Pentacles, I feel like over time this person is going to see that you've actually distanced yourself from them. It would become very evident in a way that that you don't want to be at the center of what's going on with them. I think that the friendship will begin to sour here in a way that becomes quite difficult to work with. I think the two of you are going to find it very difficult to communicate. I don't think you're going to see eye to eye on certain things. I think maybe this person has just really put you off and you have an idea of who it is that they are in a way where you don't really know whether you can trust them anymore either. I think you see what they're doing in a way that is very controlling and manipulative, and that you just don't get what they really want to do with it, where they want to go with it. I feel here that they become also at the same time, because of how you're watching them, the vibe that you're giving them, the lack of honest connection that you used to have, you know, that's evaporated. You know, like what you've got left is you sort of standing on the outer, on the peripheral, watching on to this person and sort of seeing straight through it. And I feel like it calls this person out without actually directly saying anything, you know. I feel like they become self-conscious of their behavior. You know, I have to be honest with you, I don't necessarily see this person manipulating the situation at this point here currently. I think that they are at the center of everything in a way that gives them the attention that they want. But I don't feel directly that this person is conscious that they're doing that. As time moves on, I feel that increasingly they will begin to become aware of it because they're quite conscious of what your vibe is and how you're watching them. I feel they feel that they are being observed by you, watched by you, judged by you. Okay? And here with the Nine of Wands, this person is very alert to that fact in a way where it becomes very awkward between the two of you. And I feel that will actually become quite intense. And I think it'll get to a point where it becomes so uncomfortable for this person that they will actually call that situation out. And I feel that this person is going to push for a very difficult conversation that engages you to understand what your perception is of them. I feel like this person wants to know how you see them. I feel like this is actually a very brave moment in the future here in a way that really puts it on this person to look directly at themselves and to actually put themselves on the line in terms of you being able to kind of put words to something that maybe they've been too afraid to face themselves, too afraid to do anything about. And what I will say is that I feel that this person has seen the relationship, the friendship with you deteriorate to such a point by about now that this person knows that they actually have to call what's going on, otherwise things are going to go completely south and belly up. So I don't feel that this person wants the friendship to become detrimentally impacted. And even though they are more conscious of what they're doing at this point, I feel like it's an opportunity for you to step in a way that is really honest. If I come down here to the Lovers and the Queen of Cups, I actually feel that you'll respond in a very heartfelt way that brings it all back to the love of the relationship. Here with the Queen of Cups, I don't feel that you're going to look or use this as an opportunity to exploit how this person thinks and feels about themselves. I think that you'll come straight back into the room in terms of the love that you actually have for this person. And I just want to call that out, because if we come back over here to the Knight of Cups and back over here to the Queen of Cups, the two of you are actually really lovely people who have a center of gravity that is based on good hearts. You're good people. You're fair people, and the reality is that I feel that the two of you have a friendship where you can have a heart-to-heart. And I feel that you know that this is the only choice, that you have to be honest with this person in a way that discusses how you feel in the context of this situation. And I think that will actually be a very non-confrontational situation, that you'll be very delicate and very sensitive, not to make this person feel really crappy, not to make it look that they're being worse than they really are, but at the same time also being very honest. I feel like you'll use empathy and compassion, and that's coming from a really loving place, and that kind of wins the day for me here. I feel that you're sitting down here and having a really amazing heart-to-heart, and this is kind of almost like an efficient navigation that avoids emotional triggers for yourself and for the other person in a way that could take this in a completely different direction. So if you had an agenda, that would be the perfect time to bring this person down and make them feel really crappy. But you don't have an agenda. What you actually have is a full recognition that this is a really lovely person. And although they've actually been doing your head in and they've been really hard work, and what were they thinking to actually act out the way that they've been acting? By about this point, when you get here into the future, you realize this person just wants to be loved. That whatever it is that happened over here in the past, it was a really, really bad situation. And yeah, okay, they pushed it probably as far as they can go, but they also know that they're actually starting to push it too far, and they're calling on you as a friend to help them to kind of navigate back to their truth. I feel that you'll remember why you're friends here in the first place. I feel like you'll successfully get over this challenge in terms of where things have come at, in terms of a bit of a dead end here with the Ten of Wands. And I feel the decision that you make to engage them from a very heartfelt level will actually take you both forwards in terms of your friendship, and that love wins here. For my Patreon followers, if you'd like to hold for a moment, I will be with you in a second to discuss more about what's going on. And for everybody else, if you want to go down below and hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Please like and share this video where you can. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care.